All right, well, I told you I was tired at the end of the last trip and did something kind of silly. Probably shouldn't have done this, but I left all the money just laying here on my blackjack table. So as you remember, this is the 3,000 that we had in the money clip, and then this was 1542. So I'm going to take another trip now, different casino, and I'm just going to bring the 1542 from last time. Just going to bring it all. What the heck? I mean, sorry, 1542 is the profit plus the 3,000, so that's 4552. Okay, so I'm just going to bring the whole 4552 with me. So the plan is for today is I might play a little blackjack. I'm not sure yet. The first stop is going to be a casino where I have been banned from blackjack, but they still let me play the other games. And baccarat is also a game like blackjack in that the cards that are dealt affect what cards could be dealt on the next round. Now, you can't use the same type of card counting in baccarat like blackjack. It's a little bit different. You're trying to determine if the banker is going to win or the player is going to win. And to be honest, I'm not even worried about that. This particular type of baccarat that they have there, they have side bets. And as I've talked about, some side bets can be taken advantage of. This uses a completely different count than you use for blackjack, but you can predict when a couple of these side bets are actually favorable for the player. And so that's what I'm going to be primarily attacking today. It has a lot more volatility than blackjack, but the good thing about it is you know exactly how much you could possibly lose, okay? Because this particular one, at this particular casino, the most that I could bet on the side bet is only $25. Actually, $25 on one of them and $40 on the other one. So I can figure out at the beginning of the shoe what the most I possibly could lose would be if I were to lose every single bet. Okay, but I'm not even going to make a bet every round. I'm only going to bet when it's favorable to do so. All right, so it's a matter of keeping the count and then jumping in. And baccarat is great because almost nobody, bets every single round during baccarat. So I can easily stand behind the table, keep the count, and then just jump in on these side bets when it's in the player's favor to do so. All right, and even if the table fills up, I can bet on somebody else's side bet if they're not already doing so. So this should work out pretty well. Unfortunately, this particular casino, I'm going to it just because it happens to be close and because I never want to give up any kind of free bets, okay? So even though they won't let me play blackjack anymore there, for some reason they keep sending me promotions. And so I have some free play and I even have some free drawings. So I got to go up there anyway, put in my free play, or make my free play bets, and also put in my raffle tickets, because if it's free, it's free. So I'll take any kind of reward, no matter how low the possibility of winning is, if the risk is zero, right? So while I'm there, I'll do this baccarat side bet that they have up there. Problem is they only have one baccarat table, so we'll see how it goes. Good chance I won't even be able to make a bet, so I'll update you later. And then that's why I might play blackjack too at another casino nearby, where I've also been banned, by the way, but I haven't been in there in a long time, and I look a little bit different right now. Different haircut, different facial hair or lack thereof, so we'll see. Maybe wear a hat. Give it a try. Worst case, they tell me that I have to leave, and if I come back, I'll be arrested for trespassing or something like that. But they haven't even threatened me with trespassing yet. They just told me I couldn't play blackjack. So we'll see what happens. I'll update you right afterwards. Alright, in case I do play any blackjack, definitely need to practice. So last time I don't think I explained this properly. You see that little number down there in the lower right corner. That's the true count. I don't know if you can see that number or not, if it shows up too well, but it's showing me the true count, and then I have to decide whether I hit stand, double, or split based on the true count. I set this up for a game that does not offer late surrender at all. So it's showing me, like, for example, a 10 against a 10. You know, that would be a double down if the true count was 4 or higher. If it's less than 4, then it's just a hit. You know, pair of 10s against a 5, that's a split if the true count is 5 or more. Okay, so that's what this thing is testing me on. And then it's supposed to be based on the illustrious 18, but towards the end here, you're going to see that I make a mistake, and the mistake is not part of the illustrious 18. It's something that I learned recently here. So you'll see that in a minute. Okay, there it is. There's the mistake. So a pair of 6s against a 6. Apparently that is not a split if the true count is negative 10 or less, and in this case it was showing me negative 11 for the true count, so I should have just hit. Okay, I didn't know that, and that's not part of the illustrious 18. And I really wouldn't be playing in the game, I don't think, if it was negative 11 for the true count. A true count, negative 10 or less true count, no, I would have walked away from the table for sure at that point, so I don't think I really need to know that.
You should have bet 10.
Tell me now, baby, is he good to you? Can he do to you the things that I do? I can take you. Sometimes it's like someone took a knife, baby, edgy and dull, cut a 6-inch valley through the middle of my skull.
Insurance.
At night I wake up with the sheets soaking wet and a freight train running through the middle of my head. Only you.
Insurance.
I'm on fire, yeah.
Dealer has blackjack.
I'm on fire,
Dealer has blackjack.
yeah. I'm on fire, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm on fire, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, as you can see, I am out in the middle of nowhere. I left, it was daylight, it is now dark, which is the really good news. The really good news is that I told you I was backed off from Blackjack at this place, and I just played there for about 4 hours, okay? No heat whatsoever, and I didn't use any cover at all either. So that's the really good news. The good news is I also won about $100, not a lot. That's slightly less even than the EV for this particular game, because I was not only playing blackjack and counting, but they also have a side bet on this game. I really like this game, especially now with my reduced bankroll, because they've got a countable side bet, and you don't even have to use a separate count. You can use the same high-low count, and the side bet is beatable. So the interesting thing that happened, though, is that I did bet the side bet a few times. It's rare. It has to be a really high count for it to be worth it, for it, to be in your, favorable for the player to make the side bet. It did come up a couple of times. Interestingly, though, the one time that I would have hit it, I lost it every time I bet it, which is no big deal because this place only lets you bet a maximum of $5 on this side bet. So I didn't lose very much on the side bet, but the count was positive, but it was not nearly high enough to justify betting the side bet, not even $5. And I hit what would have paid 75 to 1. So, of course, I had nothing on it. But do I feel bad about that? No, because I'm not playing hunches or anything like that. I'm playing according to the count. I did the right thing. And I bet that, but I would have never bet that. I don't make that bet when the count's not high enough, and it was not even high enough. It just so happened that I hit the very rare 75 to 1 payoff, and it can happen, just like you can get a blackjack and a negative count. So anyway, no big deal. I won. That's the good part. And now I'm headed over to the place that I was originally headed for to see if there's any baccarat worth playing, and they might have some slots there too that I might be able to make a little bit of money on. And then mostly I'm going there to put in my free raffle tickets, and we won't know about those for a while. Probably they're worth nothing, but they also cost nothing, so it's worth a shot. All right, I'll update you on my way home. This is going to be my last stop after this, and I'll let you know what happens. All right. All right, so that was a complete waste of time. Well, here's the thing. I got my lottery, or my raffle tickets. I put those in, at least I did that. But here's the thing that sucks about baccarat, okay? It's also a thing that makes it great, I guess, because it takes so damn long, because the people that play this game, the ploppies that play this game, think that there is some sort of pattern to when the banker wins and when the player wins. So they have this paper and pen, and they mark everything down, and they think they can follow this pattern. And then, if that's not good enough, the casino actually puts up a big LED board that shows you the so-called pattern, right? As if the casino would actually show you the pattern if that worked, right? And so, but, you know, they believe that there's a pattern in random cards coming out of a shoe, okay? It's a natural instinct for humans to believe that, you know, but because humans were programmed over the millennia of our evolution, if you believe in such things, to find patterns. So we find patterns when there are no patterns. That's just the way our brains work. We've been wired that way. It's actually true for all primates, because when you're like gathering nuts and seeds and berries, it makes sense to look for a pattern because things grow in a pattern. But cards do not come out of a shoe in a pattern. Anyway, I'm rambling because I'm frustrated. You know, I watched 80 rounds of Baccarat, almost 80 rounds. I walked out at about 75 rounds because there was like no hope of this thing getting positive. So anyway, 80 rounds of Baccarat, and there was not one time where it was bettable. Not one bet that I could make based on the count. Not one bet in 80 rounds. Now, 80 rounds would be no big deal in Blackjack. That would be like an hour. But in Baccarat, with these slow-ass players, that's 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours, okay? And now I'm going to do something that's probably even more waste time. It's already 2 o'clock in the morning. And, you know, I'm probably going to find out, like, you know, I used to always say, why do these other APs, why do they all talk about sleeping in their cars? And most of them have way more money than me, a much bigger bankroll than me. And they say they sleep in their car. And I'm like, why would you sleep in your car, you know, with a bag full of $50,000 in $100 bills, and you're sleeping in your car?Hy? Right? Well, this is why. Because it's 2 o'clock in the morning right now, and there might be a really good opportunity at the place that I was at before, because there is, and this isn't even Blackjack, there's a slot machine that was getting very close to where it's a progressive slot machine. It's getting very close to where the progressive payout is so high that, and it has to hit by a certain amount, okay? And it's so high, it has to hit by 5,000, all right? And it was already getting, it was almost at 4,900, okay, not quite. At that point, now the progressive builds up really slow, but once it's above 4,900, so I gotta go check it out at least. It's only an hour away from where I am, but then that puts me another hour to get home. So if I go up there, it's gonna be 3 a.m. If it's a total waste of time because either I can't get on the machine because there's a line of ploppies waiting because they all know that this thing has to hit, and it is Friday night. So I'm not gonna, you know, then it's gonna be, well, that was a wasted hour plus another hour to get home. And so we're looking at, yeah, you know, possibly taking me to 4 a.m. And then depending on how tired I am, you know, at that point, does it really make sense to check into a hotel at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning? You know, and checkout time is 11. Maybe they give me a late checkout till noon, so I can sleep, you know, for a few hours, I guess. 6 hours. Maybe, well, I might be able to sleep for 7 hours even. Maybe. If I can even find a hotel that up here in the middle of nowhere where, you know, there would actually be somebody at the desk at 4 o'clock in the morning. I could check into the casino, but I don't like to give casinos my name. And, you know, you need a driver's license to check into the hotel. Especially since this is a casino where I am not welcome to play Blackjack. And I was playing Blackjack earlier. Although now I'm going back just for slots, so who knows? I don't know. But see, that's where it makes sense to, you get tired, so you sleep for a couple hours in your car, then you get back on the road and get home. So I might just do that. Especially since I have to watch the expenses real carefully now. Alright, so basically at this point I'm still up $100 blackjack. I did make a little bit of money from slots. Not much to talk about. A lot of time, but so I'm definitely under the EV, but at least I have a profit. Definitely could be worse. Alright, so I will, if this ends up being the end of the video, then you know I didn't make it home because I fell asleep driving. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It'll be fine. I'll update you at the end. Alright. Rumsfeld rather famously said, you don't go to war with the army you want, you go to war with the army you have. Now, I try very hard on this show not to get into politics, so I only bring this up as an analogy for what's going on right now, alright? I don't know about the war that he was talking about, I'm not going to get into that, but the war that I'm going into with the casinos is a war of choice. I don't have to go to war with the casinos. So I'm not going to go to war with the casinos unless I have the army that I want, or in this case, at least the ammunition that I want and that I need. And for war with casinos, that ammunition is money. So, here's what's happening. Yesterday, last night, I continued to waste more time going back to that casino to play a silly slot machine that has a progressive jackpot. The progressive jackpot was not high enough and nobody was playing it, which I was kind of surprised because most of the time people will jump on those machines long before they are in a positive EV situation. But it was still not in positive EV even last night, but it was close. So I decided I'm going back there today. Now, it's probably a good thing because I didn't probably have quite enough cash on me to really attack that machine. Okay, the progressive jackpot has to hit by 5,000. But and when it's in positive EV, that means it's very unlikely, but not impossible, that you will go through more than $5,000 before it hits. So you have to have more than $5,000 on you to attempt that play. I had about $4,600 on me last night, which means I was at least $400 shy. I probably would have tried it anyway. And I did have a credit card on me and an ATM card, so I would have been able to get a little bit more cash if I absolutely needed it. So today is Saturday, and since I got home at 6 a.m., I woke up after the banks were already closed. So I could not get any more money. So I scrounged around the house and I got up to about $4,900. And then the main bank account that I use for Blackjack, I don't know I can distinctly remember the guy saying, "Do you want an ATM card?" And I said, "No, I'll always take the money out in person." Because usually I'd be taking out, you know, several $1,000s. I'm not going to take out several $1,000s out of an ATM. But right now it'd be nice to have that ATM card. When the bank is closed, I could at least take out $300, $400, maybe $500. That would make me feel a lot safer. So